What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 127. The Terror Table is your favorite horror podcast that you come to listen to us talk about horror movies, horror TV shows, horror books, horror video games, all that horror stuff. I'm one of your regular hosts that you hear every single week. My name is Mitch, and alongside me, as always,
Buzi.
And we normally have a third co-host, but he won't be with us this month. We previously announced that we were going to be doing a episode on Night of the Creeps, and it actually generated a lot of traction, so I felt bad immediately pulling out.
Yeah, we were like, psych!
Yeah, because it seemed like people, like, it's definitely one of those episodes that people have been asking for a very long time for good reason. But we're going to be pushing that episode back until Diego can be here with us, because that's going to be an important episode. So that's going to be in about a month. Yeah. But until then, Buzi and I decided that we're gonna let the show go on, just like we will always let the show go on. And we decided off the cuff, we're like, hey, what could we talk about this week instead? And then we said, motherfucker, it's Shark Week. It's Shark Week. We love our shark movies. We love our nature run amok animal attack movies. So we decided to celebrate Shark Week with a double feature of Shark Night 3D and Bait 3D.
Which we haven't done a double feature in a while.
It's been a long time since we've done a double feature. And guess what, folks? We're going to be doing lots of them. We're going to do lots of double features, and we're going to have more double features coming up this month. We also have, except for next week. Next week, we're going to be welcoming our new friend and podcaster, Sean Broom of the Story of You podcast. He's going to be coming on to talk about Lake Placid with us. So that wasn't really planned, that we were going to do like 2 weeks straight of like animal attack movies.
But you know, like we were kind of looking at it, and we saw Shark Week, and then we're like, you know, like, it's summer, let's get the good vibes of being attacked by giant creatures.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Lake Placid. And then the following week, so this is for you, Bryce. I'm giving you guys heads up on the next 3 weeks, I guess 2 weeks after this one. Buzi and I are going to be doing another double feature.
Yep.
And it's going to be creepy crawlies, arachnophobia, and ticks.
I'm so excited for those.
We're doing both arachnophobia and ticks, so very, very excited.
That's our summer theme.
Yeah, and well, I guess I could just say what we're doing the next week.
Sure.
Should I do that? Yeah, we're doing a summer of camp. So we're gonna try and find stuff that's campy, and stuff that is also set in the summertime, or are things that you can encounter on a camping trip of any type. So the following week after that, we're going to be doing a slasher double feature of Sleepaway Camp and The Burning. You didn't agree with me on The Burning just yet, but I'm just going to say, yeah, what do you
Even I'm surprised right now.
Well, I mentioned it, but we never actually said, yeah, let's do that one for sure. But as it stands right now, we're going to do Sleepaway Camp and The Burning. So plenty of stuff to look forward to. We're working on our next book club episode. That should be coming out right away as well. But before we get on with the regular show, where we're going to talk about everything we've been up to, I just want to say that we are proudly presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, who is currently sponsored by Connexus Credit Union. So you can check out the Saskatchewan Podcast Network on Instagram and Facebook. I believe they're on Twitter as well. But
I think they have a website as well.
Yeah, definitely check out the website, which is where you can find our podcast, along with a bunch of other great podcasts. All stuff that has come out of Saskatchewan, as far as I believe.
Yeah, it's 100% Saskatchewan. It's fairly new.
It's brand new.
Yeah. So I think they launched like last month, like halfway through or something. Yeah. So it's very, very new, very out of the womb.
It's very exciting though. We're very excited to be presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, who is currently sponsored by Connexus Credit Union. But yeah, you can check us out there, and also you can check out our boy Sean Broom's podcast, The Story of You, is also on the same network. So we're like Eskimo brothers, but of networks. You know what that is? Yeah, I'm not going there. But we're brothers of some ilk. But going on from that, I just want to get some stuff out of the way. So it's been 2 or 3 weeks since our last episode, which was our episode with Lana from Boston, in which we talked about Krull in my kitchen. So that was a really exciting time. We had friends like Andy and Bianca fly in from there, doing a world tour right now, which you can follow on Instagram at world.
Is that a world tour or your girls tour?
Agreed.
Twitter fingers turn to trigger fingers.
Yeah, so you can follow them. We had Andy and Bianca here, and then we had Lana come halfway through the week, and she stayed with us for a couple days. Bit. It was an amazing time. I just want to say that's definitely probably the highlight of this podcast so far for me. I know, and I guess for you as well. Yep. We definitely don't take that stuff for granted. It's pretty amazing that Buzi and I were talking about this, how we definitely did not picture we were going to have international guests fly in to come and hang out with us when we started this podcast, and we've developed some pretty amazing friendships with it, and those three are some of the best ones.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to hopefully having more of our friends come out, and when it's a little more financially easy for us, we would love to go down to the States, because you know, like all these fucking Americans and, you know, people from overseas that come over here, and there's this exchange rate, so they're just blowing through their American money.
They get free money over here.
Yeah, basically.
You're getting paid
it's
to come to Canada. It's
easier for you guys to come down here.
Yeah, it is. But we are going to make that happen eventually. But I don't know, it was pretty amazing. I had such a good time. I felt terrible saying goodbye to Andy and Bianca, because it was like just by the end of the week I was like, well, we're just getting started now. Like we had a lot of fun with them, and I know like Lana was pretty crazy. Like within hours of her being here, we were sitting on my couch fully dissecting the Halloween franchise. Like her and I just had a really good talk about that, and I don't know, it was amazing. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone so they were here over my birthday, and at midnight on my birthday, Andy and Bianca presented me with an incredible birthday card that had signatures and little blurbs, little notes written from all the people that they've met on their travels so far, that have all the people that are somehow connected to the show, or how we met through the show. Like I had Kent Blue, and the guys, Steven from Let's Talk About Stuff, and David Hopkins, and like Kent Blue, Bryce, and Megan, his wife. It was amazing, and I straight up cried. Like I teared up like a little baby, because I was like, that's one of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me. And it just it all hit me. I'm like, man, they got these Germans in my living room who gave me this. It was just amazing. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. And with that being said, I also just want to give another shout out to everyone who has ever listened to our show or given us a chance, and to anyone who for some reason has found enjoyment out of listening to us do what we do. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. But okay, one last thing before we move on, just so I don't keep on getting sappy. Some things are going to be changing around here, sort of. We're starting off slow, but there's going to be some changes made. And one of the things that we're going to change, which I haven't told Buzi about this yet, but on new features, like whenever we do new movies like Crawl or Midsummer, we're going to go back to having our spoiler-free discussion before we delve in. And it's because we had some people reach out and say that they enjoy that part of our show, because actually they decide if they're going to actually check it out or if it's for them, and they've enjoyed listening to us. And Jeff is one of those people who has said that, and you know, I got to respect that, and I agree. I liked doing the spoiler free talk, but for movies like Shark Night 3D and Bait 3D, like
we still got to. You can't. You can't make fucking rules and then immediately contradict your rules. But what about? Let's just go with the rule, and we can figure it out after.
Okay, I'll let you lead that off, because good luck talking fucking spoiler free with Shark Night 3D and Bait 3D.
I'd like to say that, because I hadn't seen that message or messages, is I really appreciate that people do give us some sort of constructive criticism or ideas, because we're always trying to make the show better, because we do have a core group of people that listen. So if it makes the product better for them, that's great, and if that makes the product better on its own, that other people who pick it up will listen to it and enjoy it more, that's perfect.
I agree. Much appreciated on the criticisms, the constructive ones.
Yeah.
Even the non-constructive ones tell me I'm an asshole. But I already know that. So yeah, I don't know. You want to move on with the show, Buzi?
Yeah.
Talk about stuff.
There's another new thing which we're going to be implementing. So this will be the first week where we fully implement it. I'd kind of dabbled in it before. So basically, at the end of the episode, we're going to force you to listen to the outro, because after the outro, I will give a question. It'll be kind of a question of the week thing. It'll be all over the place in terms of this, and I think it'll just be something fun to get more of a conversation and make people think about something. So we're going to pose this question at the end, and if you feel inclined, I would love people to send in their things, and we can talk about their answers, and we can talk about our own. And these are more than just yes or no questions.
Yeah. I really hope this doesn't backfire, and we get at least a couple people more than even just Bryson.
I think that
don't get me wrong, I want Bryson to answer every single time, but hopefully we get more than Bryson.
But that's not always the point of it. Also, it's to enhance our show from our point of view, where we can actually have a conversation about something other than just like, what did you watch? What did you watch? You know, not to belittle those things that we do. No, but it'll be interesting to have a conversation.
We like talking about that stuff. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I think we both have creative minds to think of great ideas.
Yes.
With that, I did have a question I posted on the 26th, and that was just about how 2019 has been shaping up for people.
Did you pull it up?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's the question is basically, what was good this year, what disappointed you, what are you looking forward to? So I have 3 answers for that. So I guess we'll do those first, and then we can talk about our own. So the first one is from Bryson, of course.
Motherfucking the Bryson.
And Bryson says, my favorites of the year so far are Us, Child's Play, and Crawl. I'm really looking forward to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, It Chapter 2, and Dr. Sleep. Also, that Creepshow series looks like so much fun. I'm very excited for that as well. There have been some movies this year. I think that's because he put EHHH. So I'm feeling that's like an not in like movies this year, but nothing super bad that I've seen anyway. The disappointing part is it feels like a very slow year for horror, at least in the first half of the year. And then he actually responded to his own comments. Oh yeah, I also bought tickets for 3 from Hell from their special showing in September. I'm looking forward to that as well. So thank you, Bryson, for that.
Thanks, Big B.
Big B. Let us know what you think about 3 from Hell. I don't think we're going to cover it, and I don't know if any of us are actually going to go see it. So.
I'm going to see it if I can.
Okay, maybe Mitch will see it. Dwight Fry, Private Eye, says, was pleasantly surprised by Child's Play and Pet Sematary. Crawl I knew nothing about before going to see it out of the blue. Kind of the same thing with Midsommar. I liked Crawl. Midsommar was beautifully shot, and he put like a shitload of dots there, so I was trying to do like dramatic effect. Was beautifully shot. I'm looking forward to seeing it, even though I didn't like the recent one. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
3 from Hell looks kind of terrible, but I'll be there opening night. All right, so Dwight as well. Please let us know what you think about 3 from Hell. And Lana from Boston says, Us, Crawl, Midsommar, Child's Play, The Perfection, Brightburn, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Vile, Horror Noir, Happy Death Day to You, Escape Room, Disappointments are among the... Oh, so I guess she liked those things. Disappointments are among the new season of Black Mirror, Pet Sematary, Climax, technically 2018, but she just watched it, Velvet Buzzsaw, Glass, looking forward to Scary Stories, It 2, Zombieland 2, 47 Meters Down and Caged, Dr. Sleep, Ready or Not, and 3 from Hell. So also let us know what you think of 3 from Hell. It seems like we're the only people who are very... I feel like I'm the only person who's like, I'm not going to that.
I think we're the only people in our community who don't like Rob Zombie movies, which is fine. But yeah, I'm actually going to be talking about a few today, so that's fitting.
All right, so Mitch, 2019, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty much in line with Bryson. Like so far, my favorites of the year so far. I don't know, I don't know if you can fully consider it a horror movie. I've talked about it many times on here, but it is now on Shudder. Is Lords of Chaos. That's the movie I've enjoyed the most this year. It's one that I've...
big boner for that.
It's really great, and I actually, I'm going to be having Jeff over for a movie night where we're going to watch it, and you should come, because I really want you to see that movie. I bought it on Blu-ray, still haven't watched it again, but it's on Shudder now, so you can check it out there. I really enjoyed that movie.
As much as everyone rags on Jeff, I would be looking forward to hanging out with him.
Jeff's great. He's off Facebook right now.
What?
He's off Facebook. So he's like, it's like he's tricking us. It's like, oh, fuck, we're like going through Jeff withdrawals because we're used to hating him on the daily, multiple times throughout the day. Now it's just like I get a text from him, but no, I love Jeff, and I'm looking forward to doing a movie night with him. The other ones that I've liked that are straight up horror movies that I've enjoyed is like Bryson said, Us and Child's Play. I really enjoyed both of those. But my favorite straight up horror movie so far this year is Crawl. I loved it. I loved it so much. Velvet Buzzsaw is by far the biggest disappointment for me this year. I was really, really looking forward to that movie. It seemed like a home run for me, but it had all the ingredients for something that I would love, and I thought it was atrocious. It was just awful. Yeah, I thought it was just fucking awful. And then runner-up for that is Glass, because Glass was just like, I don't know. I had a feeling it was going to be bad, and it wasn't
we had a good conversation about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like... It was pretty bad, but in my opinion, like, I don't know.
It wasn't like Venom bad.
No, but it was like...
For what you wanted and what the series was.
Well, Unbreakable and Split are two incredible movies, and this was just nowhere near that for me, so I don't know. That was a disappointment. Things I'm looking forward to the most, aside from Star Wars, because I'm a Star Wars guy, that's my number one. It Chapter 2, The Lighthouse, which is Robert Eggers' new movie. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that. I think it looks fucking great. I've listened to that A24 podcast with Robert Eggers and Ari Aster, and yeah, granted, those guys truly love the smell of their own farts. I think that for whatever reason, I loved most of their movies. Like, well, I loved The Witch, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Robert Eggers does. But do you know they call it Midsommar? Yeah, so technically that's the correct title since the director's calling it that. But I refuse.
I tweeted something about Ari Aster and deleted it 2 seconds later, but now I kind of want to go back and just retweet it. And it was just going to be, I can't be the only one who's thinking this, and then just underneath it was Ari Aster.
For sure, everyone. I always think of Astrid from The Office.
That's what I was getting out of that.
Astrid. Yeah, really looking forward to The Lighthouse and 47 Meters Down Uncaged. Obviously, you and I love that shit.
That looks so up our alley, it's not even funny.
Yeah, I'm just always down for that shit. And yeah, Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark.
You still have to read the books.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not going to read them before it comes. It comes out next week.
That's true.
But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know, everything's just kind of been a little underwhelming for me. Those are the ones I've.
Do you have like any specifics that are underwhelming, or because I know you mentioned a couple.
Midsommar. I don't know. The more I think about it, the less I like that movie. So
yeah,
I'm happy people are enjoying it. I'm happy that there's lots of people who love it. I actually had a really interesting conversation with Mike Fisher about it, because he loved it, and he actually I thought that the whole suicide at the beginning was like, I didn't care that it was, they kind of led nowhere.
Yeah.
But he pointed something out to me that made that infinitely better.
Okay.
So I'll tell you about that off air.
Okay.
But it's something, it answers a question that you wanted. So I was like, oh, I never saw that. So maybe on a repeat viewing, I'll enjoy it more. Especially since I can sit in the comfort of my own home for a 3 fucking hour movie.
All right.
What about you?
Yeah. I'm just going to go through a list of things and just talk about them all pretty quickly. I wasn't looking forward to it very much, and I was kind of lukewarm in the review, but honestly, compared to a lot of other things I've watched this year, it was fine. It's just
not your bread and butter. It's not the thing that
and like, I know people like razz me about it, like, oh, you don't like Jordan Peele or whatever. It's like, Jordan Peele hasn't made a shark movie. You know, when he does that shit, then I'll be into it.
I feel like there was a rumor that he was going to do a movie like that.
See, it's the thing is that what he is doing isn't up my alley in terms of interest. I'm big on, I don't like alternate realities. I don't like time warping and stuff. So it just wasn't for me. Pet Sematary, I remember it being like, okay, this was going to be my movie of the year, and it was really disappointing. The longer I've sat and had time to think about it, it was really disappointing. I've avoided Annabelle, and from what it sounds like, it's not great.
Well, I think a lot of people, from what I've seen, a lot of people enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be one of them.
Yeah, I can already figure.
It's not your thing.
Biggest surprise for me so far was Child's Play.
Yeah, that was huge surprise.
Huge surprise. I know we were ragging on it quite a bit leading up to it, like, oh, look what they're doing with this, blah, 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 which a lot of people had done, and I think that it exceeded expectations, and it was probably one of the funniest horror movies I've seen in quite a while.
Yeah.
Like, just straight, the humor was great.
It was just entertaining as hell.
Yeah. And another big one that, surprising on different levels, and I know we probably talked about it a little bit in the episode, is Crawl. Crawl surprised me on so many different levels because of the genre of movie that it is and how competent it was. Because we're going to get to that when we do our main feature about lowered expectations for certain genres of film. And
totally.
I feel like Crawl just fucking punched its way through that.
Yeah, it was much better than you could guess.
It was much better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit about Zombieland. That's just I never have the nostalgia that a lot of other people do with that movie.
I loved it the first time I saw it. I think I've seen it twice. And I loved it both times, but I'm not dying to see another one. But I will go to it.
I think it was when it came out. There was already that big zombie fatigue.
Yeah,
and it didn't move the needle for me. Very excited for 47 Meters Down. Dr. Sleep. I'm interested.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't say that. That's my number one.
That's your number one
for sure. For horror, yes.
What else am I going here?
You don't love you're not super excited. Like, did
I'm not like obsessed.
I've never seen you really talk about The Shining.
I do like The Shining, but I feel like me saying like I like The Shining, I'll watch it whenever. If someone's like I'm never gonna be like, no, I don't want to watch it. It doesn't like, it's not obsessive for me the way that I can see so many other people being obsessed with it.
Totally.
And I love the fact that other people are so obsessed with it, but for me it didn't need anything else. I didn't need The Shining prequel. I didn't need, it was such an encapsulated story that the Dr. Sleep thing, it doesn't matter that much for me.
It's a sequel. But
prequel, sequel,
last night, because Courtney, she's did that she's doing it for book club next month, so or this month, and she just was telling me about it last night. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but all I'll say is like she started crying talking about the book. Like, she fucking loved it. So
okay. What else? I'm just going to go through this whole list. Curse of I
watched it.
Badoo. Okay, you can talk about that after. Just let me get through this. I don't care about that movie. Really excited to see Ma. I know it went through the theater really fast, so I'm still excited. I forgot Escape Room came out this year, which is kind of a surprise hit. For me, personally, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it.
I think we just didn't hate it as much as we were expecting to, and now we're like, we'll give it a solid pass.
Very excited for It Chapter 2. It looks great. It looks like the most over-the-top in terms of horror movie. I mean, you see that scene where it has like Pennywise floating with the balloons.
It looks like the Star Wars of horror movies. Yeah, it just looks huge. And you got your tickets for it.
I did. Thank you. That was from you.
Yeah, whole book club. And Darcy got seats right beside us.
Perfect.
That curly red-headed fuck.
That hipster fuck.
Yeah, that hipster fuck.
The Lighthouse looks great. 3 from Hell, whatever. I've heard not great things about Rabid from the Soska sisters, but I'm still interested to see it.
Yeah.
And number one for me right now that I'm excited to see is Black Christmas. I need a trailer. Yeah. I need something, because we both follow, I believe, the director, who's showing off set photos, and it's like, just give me a little bit more.
I know, but even from the set photos, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah,
like obviously I'm being a little nice here, because like I'm just excited to see how they handle a new Black Christmas movie. But
yeah, I think it's going to be handled with a lot more care than Black Xmas.
I would fucking hope so.
I actually talked to somebody who knows a couple of the actors from that, and they were aware the whole time that like this isn't going to be good.
It's Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
I know. I still like that movie though, in a way of like, this is the worst. Like I get enjoyment out of how fucking stupid it is.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we got a lot of good subject out of that. So stay tuned at the end. We will be asking another question, and some of it's going to actually require you to write a little bit of a story for us, even for some of them.
Cool. I have no idea what your question is.
No, you don't. Yeah. So
yeah, I have one that I want to ask. Maybe we'll double up on it. Or save it for next week.
I'll save it, because we're eventually going to run out of ideas. It's like me running out of voices. Like, eventually we're going to run out of ideas. So let's bank them and go on from there.
Okay. So you want to talk about what we've been seeing then?
Yeah. Do you want me to go, or do you want to go? I'm very limited on what I have to talk about. So if you want to go, that's up to you.
I have
because I just talked a whole bunch. I can finish mine, and then you can save all your breath. So I have been watching a shitload of forensic file kind of shows on YouTube, so I can't really talk that much about it. There's a YouTube channel. If you're interested in cold cases, unsolved missing people kind of stuff, check out Criminally Listed. Amazing YouTube channel. I literally just leave that on repeat all the time. That's why I haven't watched a ton of movies lately. I've just been obsessed with Criminally Listed. But I did watch one movie this week because of what we're doing as a feature today. So I watched 2003's Red Water.
I was planning on watching that too.
And it's 2003. It was a made-for-TV movie.
It was always on TBS, like the Superstation.
Yeah, I don't know why they made a TV shark movie,
quote unquote movie,
but actually it's
you used to really love this movie.
I did. I think the shark's fine, and it does some cool things, but the acting hurts. The acting and story are so bad. But that's that lowered expectation of watching a shark movie. So this movie has Lou Diamond Phillips as your main character. It has Coolio being Coolio the entire time.
Tell me why are we?
And the only actor I felt did a good job for what he had was Gideon Emery. You might remember Gideon Emery. He was in Primeval.
Oh, yeah.
He was also in Blue Crush 2.
Fuck yeah.
So this is what he looks like. For anyone, if you want to
Google
Gideon Emery.
And he's in the Texas Chainsaw reboot, remake, and he's also in The Ruins.
Yeah, he's a decent actor. Like, what I don't know why he was in this, but it's not great. It's hard to talk about. It basically, there's like an oil refinery, and these people want to go there to check out if there's oil there. And when they do excavating, they blow up something underwater, and a shark comes through. And then there's these other gangsters, and Coolio's one of them, and this other like meth head, and they have to get this $3 million that someone threw in a briefcase in the water, and then it turns into a hostage situation. It's not great.
Yeah.
But there's a couple good shark kills. Unless you're really interested in watching shark movies, I wouldn't suggest this.
Yeah.
This is very niche.
Have you watched Shark Lake with Dolph Lundgren?
No.
Because it's like, I think it came out 2017 or 2018, but I've been meaning to watch that one. Just because it's a Dolph Lundgren.
Awful.
Well, it's a Dolph Lundgren.
I don't even know anything about it. It's like Shark Lake. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay, I'll get a couple things. So I watched some new movies that I've been meaning to watch. Some stuff that came out this year that I finally got around to seeing. I'll start off with, I saw The Curse of La Llorona, the movie you were just talking about. La Llorona.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one is directed by Michael Chavez, who is going to be directing The Conjuring 3. So
is
that's
Michael Chavez or Michael Chavez?
Chavez. To be honest, I don't know.
Fuck him.
Yeah, Curse of La Llorona. So this is the movie itself. Like, I didn't really have interest in seeing it in the theater.
This is part of the Conjuring universe?
It's tied to the Conjuring universe very, very loosely.
It's like an orbiting planet.
Yes. Yeah, it's tied to it very loosely. But overall, it's really well shot and really well lit.
Okay.
There's lots of spooky evil bride ghosts popping out and screaming. So if that's your thing, where you just like a person jumping in front of the screen and screaming at you, that's spooky. It wasn't necessarily bad, but it's definitely not good either. Like, it's not good.
Is it kind of what you come to expect from a quote unquote Conjuring offshoot?
I don't know. It's just boring. Like, it was just boring. It was super boring. Like, Courtney and I were just like, just give us something. Like,
one thing I'm finding with a lot of those movies, and I always feel bad because I'm that guy who always rips on, those kind of movies, is you kind of realize there's zero stakes to anything that's going on.
Exactly.
Because you're like, oh, shit, that is terrifying, but that ghost isn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
They might, like, poke you or something.
I know,
or steal your bed sheet when you're trying to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. And so this one, it has Raymond Cruz, who played Tuco in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yep.
He's like the unorthodox priest in this movie.
He's played a priest in several things.
Really? Yeah, he's fucking terrible. Like, he just always is Tuco. I just always see Tuco. But yeah, like, it's difficult to take him seriously, but I was half expecting him to just punch one of the kids and call him bitch at one point, because he always did that. Yeah, bitch, in Breaking Bad. But there's so many silly steps that they have to go through to get rid of La Llorona, and at times it feels like it's a spoof, like, because of how Cruz delivers the lines, and it's almost like he's playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like,
so is the backstory to La Llorona interesting? Like, why they became an evil spirit?
Well, it's apparently a real, like, myth that like people, like Spanish people, are really, like,
it's a weird contradicting.
What?
That's a weird real myth.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just I didn't like it. I'm trying this new thing where I'm trying to be nicer about some of these movies, but it fucking sucked.
This is nice, Mitch. Okay.
Yeah, it sucked.
Won't make your list then.
Fuck no. I will never watch this again, ever. So I don't know. I encourage you to skip it if you're looking for something like that. But
and it doesn't add anything to any of the other films?
No, it just kind of
exists.
Ends where it begins.
Okay.
Other than that, I also checked out The Intruder. Have you seen the trailers for this one?
Is this new?
Yeah, it's
like this year?
Yes, Dennis Quaid.
Oh, is that the one where he sells the house and then he won't stop coming back?
Yes. So
I was actually interested in this.
Yeah, so this one's starring Dennis Quaid, Megan Good, and Michael Ealy. I want to see Michael Ealy. He's going to be in the new remake of Jacob's Ladder.
Okay. I forgot about that coming out.
Did you watch the trailer?
No, I haven't.
I think it looks fucking terrible.
Oh, that's kind of unfortunate.
It's a huge bummer, yeah. But this one was directed by Dion Taylor, who has also directed movies like ones that you actually have probably never heard. Meet the Blacks.
Okay.
Chain Letter. I don't know. But basically, it's your classic run-of-the-mill story of a wealthy couple buys a house, and the owner is kind of a little sketchy.
Something's off.
Yeah, and he just wants to keep in touch with them and keep an eye on them, and it's just basically Dennis Quaid channeling his inner Randy Quaid, because if you're going to watch this movie for any reason, it is to see Dennis Quaid go fucking nuts, and it's pretty funny at times. It's definitely entertaining. I didn't love it as much as, like, I see there's a lot of, like, little bits of love out there for it.
Okay.
I can understand why someone would enjoy it, but it's a dumb movie, and you've seen it 100 times. You've seen this movie before, but it's entertaining enough that if you're looking for something, it's harmless.
Is it really a horror movie? Like,
yes.
What? Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a thriller stalker. I would still put it in the.
Would I enjoy it?
There's a chance you would, but I think, like, have you seen The Stepfather, the remake, The Stepfather?
I want to say I have.
Okay, because, like, honestly, I kind of like that movie, but that one's like a better version of this in some ways. But I don't know. It's entertaining enough. Courtney really liked it, but yeah, I don't know. It's nothing great.
I might try and give that a watch, because between you and Courtney, I can, like, snuggle in there and find things that I enjoy between the two. You know what I mean?
I think you'll get a good laugh at it.
Okay,
but yeah, no. If you replace. Like, if you make Dennis Quaid the neighbor of the house rather than the previous owner, you have the movie Lakeview Terrace.
Okay.
It's the same fucking movie. But yeah, so I did that, and I think I need to save a couple things because we're doing an episode, like, really close. But I guess I'll just get it out of the way. I every couple years, I try and get into Rob Zombie's movies again.
Why do you do this to yourself?
I feel like I'm missing out, because I think it was after the week we spent with Andy and Bianca. Like, Andy had said a couple times that one of his favorite horror movies of all time is House of 1,000 Corpses, and I have only seen House of 1,000 Corpses one time, and I was 12 years old. So, and I remember I hated it, but I was like, I didn't like it enough to never watch it again. And I was 12 years old, so I was like, let's give this another shot.
It's not a true opinion.
I was like, yeah, exactly. And I was like, I liked The Devil's Rejects. Like, when I saw The Devil's Rejects, I liked it. So I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. So once again, written and directed by Rob Zombie. It's his directorial debut. You got Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, Sherry Moon Zombie, Karen Black, Aaron Daniels, Fat Chris Hardwick, and pre The Office Rainn Wilson and Walton Goggins. But yeah, so it just annoyed me when I initially saw it. Definitely wasn't prepared for a movie like this at that age. But at the end of the day, I just, like, I want to rewatch. It's just not my thing. I've just realized it, and I'm going to stop now trying to do the whole Rob Zombie thing. He just clearly does stuff that isn't for me. Like, it's all style, and that is it. Like, and, you know, the style in this movie is pretty cool, but for me, it gets old, like, half an hour into the movie.
No, what you're saying about style is a big one for a lot of people. I feel that's what attracts a lot of people to his movies and what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I can understand not enjoying it as much, because there are times where I flirt with the idea that some parts of Halloween are decent.
Yeah.
And then
especially
large
Halloween
parts
2.
Yeah, and then large parts of it are meh. Because I remember really enjoying the last half of the first Halloween, where it basically just reenacts
turns into Halloween.
Yeah, but, like, sped up and more violent.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. Just at the end of the day, it feels like he's just a guy with half fleshed out ideas who's given some money, and that's kind of what you get on the screen. For me, I know that there's a lot of people out there who love it, so it's great if you love it. I'm happy that you're excited for Three from Hell.
And we should also mention that we like Rob Zombie when he's not directing. Because we both watched... No, we talked about this. We both liked Eli Roth's History of Horror.
Oh, yeah. Like, he's entertaining to listen to.
That's what I mean.
It's
is
so
that we
weird
don't hate all parts of him. Like, obviously, we're not interested in his music, and his movies are hit and miss. But we really enjoy him listening or him talking about horror because he actually
seems
knows,
like he knows his shit.
Yeah, he knows his, it's not just somebody who's like, I guess I'm making a horror movie. He's well versed in what he's doing. It's just not for us.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Yeah, this movie though, for me, it feels like a Spirit of Halloween store, but the movie. And I don't really mean that in a good way necessarily. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely seen worse, and this is definitely Zombies' maybe second best movie, but that's not saying much when it's coming from me. It kind of feels like a series of scenes shot with no idea where they will end up, and in the grand scheme of things, edited together with grindhousey transition cutscenes that sort of feel like Austin Powers cutscenes, but gory and edgy. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? When's the last time you've seen one of this movie?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, because it'll just randomly cut, and it's just like them all dancing, and it's kind of, I'm just waiting for that, I'd like to what's that fucking Austin Powers song? I'm sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. But what I will say about
Are you trying to sing like Magic Carpet
Yes,
Ride?
yes. And then where you have like Austin Powers just kind of like dancing around. It's like that, but edgy and gory. But I will say that Sid Haig and Bill Moseley are super entertaining enough characters. Like, it makes it worth watching them. But after a certain amount of time, it just kind of becomes tedious. There's that age-old discussion that everyone has that they're like, even people who don't like Rob Zombie's movies, they say Zombie just needs someone to write his scripts because he's an amazing director. He's a visionary and he makes really stylish, cool-looking movies. Countless people have said that, and I've had that conversation with so many people. And my response to it now, after a rewatch, is he though? Because I don't know. I think he would know what to do with a story that had a beginning, middle, and end. Like, he kind of just likes to make sporadic shit, so I don't know.
I like how you sporadically go on Rob Zombie witch hunts.
I do.
Where you're like, I'm going to watch this. What the hell is this?
Well, for a long time I said, because how it works with me and Rob Zombie, and this will transition well into my next movie, next and last movie, but I always say, like, I kind of like The Devil's Rejects, so that I'm always looking for a reason to like one of his movies. But I rewatched The Devil's Rejects, and I don't like that movie either.
What?
Yeah,
that's one I can always kind of defend. And maybe it's just because the ending is
really amazing.
Great.
The ending is great, but that's the thing is, everything leading up to it, it's like, this is definitely him in his peak form. Like, it's him performing at his best. Honestly, this or even parts of Halloween 2, like we were mentioning, like, there are moments of Halloween 2
Which I believe Halloween 2 is the one that everyone hated.
Yeah, people hate, I don't know, people... Seems like people either love both of them or hate both of them.
Yeah, okay.
But there's some cool, like, kills in Halloween 2 that I really like, and some shots that I enjoy, but overall it's just like, obviously, it's not my Halloween. But this movie, it has its moments, specifically with Bill Moseley and Sid Haig. Like, this has some of Rob Zombie's best dialogue, especially with Bill Moseley. He delivers some, like, pretty awesome lines, but then it kind of just feels like, I don't know. I don't. It's early in the morning.
Flustered.
Yeah, we don't normally do this early, but I don't know. It's at the end of the day, I can get what he's doing, and I can understand what people would be into it, but it's just not appealing to me. Mm-hmm. And it's similar to how the worst Tarantino movie is still amazing and better than most movies. The best Rob Zombie movie is still shit and just a little less shit than the others.
Yeah, there's the agenda.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop there because I don't know. It didn't work for me. I had to rewatch Lords of Salem for rank and review. Okay. And I've always said, I'm like, hey, I like that movie. And I've rewatched, I'm like, fuck, man, that is an awful movie.
I remember not minding that movie.
I thought me and you fought about this one. I thought you were like...
I don't feel like I would ever argue that much about a Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay.
It just, yeah. Not my thing. Happy that people like it. Hope 3 from Hell doesn't suck. But I'm definitely not going to be rushing out to see it.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, you want to get on some news?
I thought you said you had a last one. You were like, oh, this perfectly segues
Devil's Rejects.
Oh, it was just Devil's Rejects. Okay. All right.
You want to get on some news?
Sure.
Let's do it. Hit me with the motherfucking news, Booze.
All right, time for news. Feels like it's been quite a while since we were in your kitchen, basically.
A lot has happened in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I do remember talking about this on the episode with Lana, but I just kind of want to reiterate that we got the trailer for 47 Meters Down and Caged that looks awesome.
It looks
And
interesting.
they hit on smart buzzwords for us, where they were saying things like The Descent.
Yeah.
And that kind of tickles us in all the right ways. So that looks exciting. If you're interested in shark movies, especially after hearing us talk about shark movies today, go check out the trailer for that. I find that 47 Meters Down is a hedge above a lot of regular shark
We'll talk
movies.
about that in the main feature too, because
Yeah.
I posed a question on, I got some responses.
Okay. Denis Villeneuve's Dune has been moved to Christmas 2020, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer on that. I'm still excited.
I'm very excited for that.
Very interesting to see. I want to see some Shai Hulud.
Yeah, I'll watch anything Hulud and Villeneuve. Sorry.
We just actually finished watching a couple trailers before we hopped on here. So we got the trailer for the second season of Mindhunter. Looks fantastic.
Looks awesome.
And it feels like Mindhunter's been gone for a while, but it really hasn't been that long since the first season, and I'm very excited. Like, I remember loving that
I thought
show.
it's been close to 2 years.
I feel like maybe it has, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
but which is a fairly normal cycle.
Yeah, I don't know. I've definitely been itching for it. I loved that. I know we both loved that first season.
Mm-hmm.
And this season, just it builds up to the BTK, Charles Manson.
Yeah, Son of Sam.
Yeah.
There's probably other ones in there as well.
It looks just great.
And they still have Ed Kemper in there, so you're getting a little bit more of that, Mr. Ed Kemper there.
I always need more Ed Kemper in my life. I've been saying that for years.
No one listens to me. I've been saying it for years. We watched the trailer for A24's Lighthouse.
Yeah,
directed by the director of The Witch.
Robert Eggers, yeah. So that's my third time seeing that trailer, and I can't wait.
Looks fantastic.
I think it looks fucking awesome. Again, but I'm also, like, I went into The Witch with the excitement that I would have for like Star Wars, and that definitely can tarnish a movie like this because it's going to be a slower burn. Like, obviously it's an A24 Robert Eggers movie, it's going to be an art house film, but it just looks exactly up my alley, and I got a major Robert Pattinson boner going on lately.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh fuck, man, have you watched Good Time yet?
No, I haven't.
I want you to watch Good Time.
I feel like
It's
a lot
so
of those people that we grew up not hating but not enjoying, that were attached to other things, have come around and all of a sudden we're kind of championing. Like, look at Zac Efron. Miley Cyrus. The fuck is she done?
I mean, answer. Zac Efron, Miley.
Why are you
Miley?
Halsey?
Oh, I love Halsey. But I don't know. I just got a huge Pattinson boner lately, so it looks great. And Defoe's always interesting.
There's a official trailer for the Purge TV series. I haven't personally watched the trailer myself. I don't know if you have.
No, because it must be for season 2 because I've seen. I watched
season 2.
I watched 3 episodes of season 1 and I gave up. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people fizzled out on it. So I hope it does well. We always say that the more money and the more interest things have, the more opportunities we have for other things.
Yeah.
So good luck on that, I guess.
Yeah.
We recently, you can go check this out on YouTube. There's videos of the new Jurassic World ride.
Yeah.
They completely overhauled the Jurassic Park ride. There are a couple things that are fairly similar. It follows kind of the same course.
It's the same track.
Yeah. Just everything around it looks great.
It's just updated,
if you have any interest in it, watch the YouTube video, or even better, go and check it out yourself.
Yeah, we were lucky enough the Jurassic Park ride was still functioning while we were there over Halloween, so we got to ride the original ride again, and next time we go will be the Jurassic World ride. I think it looks awesome, but like I love that ride. So
I'm also happy that I got to experience the original Jurassic Park ride before it got overhauled. I actually got to go on the Jaws ride before they got rid of it as well.
Yeah, well they still have it in LA.
Do they?
Well, are you talking about just like the tram?
No, the actual water ride. In Orlando, I went to it, and it was really cool. I think they overhauled it. I'd heard they overhauled it for the Harry Potter Diagon Alley or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It looks like, I don't know if this is confirmed yet because I haven't looked a ton, but it looks like Tom Hardy is signed on for a Venom 2 and 3. Sony is hoping to get it started shooting this fall. Very interesting. We had talked about this when we all kind of went and seen Venom, that like, are they going to continue this?
It's mind-blowing that they are, but the thing is they made so much money that they have to.
I think regardless they would make money on the title like that, even if after everyone realized, oh, this is turd.
Well, I guess Venom is much... I was about to bring up Hellboy, but it's completely different. Yeah. Because Hellboy does not have the pull that Venom has.
No, it doesn't. No. And that's coming from someone who is a huge Hellboy fan. You can realize that there's a little bit...
Hellboy is not Venom.
Yeah. Got our first trailer for American Horror Story 1984, which is the first American Horror Story in a long time that I'm interested in going back to, because I haven't watched American Horror Story in years.
Yeah, last season that I tried giving a shot was Freak Show, I think, so it was a while ago.
Okay.
But I really liked the first season. The second season had its moments.
I liked Witch Coven. That one was fun.
Yeah, Coven. Yeah, I just hated, my problem with American Horror Story has always been the endings. Even this ending in season 1 I despised. But, they just never have wrapped up what I've wanted. They've never wrapped up the story in a satisfying way.
Okay.
And but this looks like very much up our alley. So
that's my exact words.
They're kind of tricking us. So I'm definitely going to be watching it. So I'm looking forward to that.
What do we got up here? Amazon and James Wan are teaming up for And I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series.
Yeah,
I'm in. 100%.
Yeah, he's directing the first episode. Originally it was supposed to be Mike Flanagan, but now he's busy doing Dr. Sleep and
wearing shirts in pools.
Yeah, exactly. Eating mashed potatoes.
I hope someday he hears this, but he doesn't hear that actual episode. He hears this why am I wearing a shirt in a pool?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely down for And I Know What You Did Last Summer TV show.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. This one we haven't talked about, and I feel like we haven't even talked about it really personally. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
The next two, so it'll be, next year will be Halloween Kills, and then the year after that will be Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Okay, so to clarify, I think we talked about this on the episode with Andy. I was under the impression, because I hadn't read about any of it yet, but I was under the impression that you guys told me that both movies were coming out in the same month, the same year.
No, originally they were supposed to be within the same, next year they're supposed to be within the same month, so you'd have the 12th or something was one, and then the 28th would be the other one.
Which would be so strange.
I think it would be pretty groundbreaking, and
it would be, but they would be banking a lot on the fact that they'd be putting a whole bunch of faith in that second movie.
But it looks like, so we're getting one next year, which is Kills, and then the year after will be Ends.
Yeah. So they got David Gordon Green coming back, Danny McBride writing.
Everybody's coming back for that.
James Hugh Courtney, Laurie Strode.
One gripe I have with it, though, is the title Kills. I'm fine with Ends. Halloween Kills just seems like such a thrown at the dartboard title, where it's like the placeholder title, when bands are tracking for new songs, and they have this song's called Fart Butt, and then later it becomes an actual thing. That's what it feels like Kills is. But there's so many better options.
I don't love either of them, to be honest, but I'm
I think the second one should have been called Halloween Night or something like that, and then the next one can be Ends is fine, Comes Home, the Boogeyman, something. It just Kills really bothers me, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I really enjoyed the first one. I know you weren't super hot on it.
I like parts of it, but I don't know, man. My main thing is they promised a satisfying conclusion to Laurie Strode, and they didn't give that at all. And I'm now just curious about where they could possibly go with it, and how long they're going to keep her alive for, because obviously she's going to die, or she's going to kill Michael somehow.
I think they're both going to die together, and that'll be the...
So I think where my minor gripes lie with this is I'm now worried about... They're putting a lot of faith in Judy Greer, who's playing Laurie Strode's daughter. I don't mind her daughter, who's... I
think that what they're going to do, though, is kind of a switch up where Judy Greer is actually going to be killed, and then it's going to have something to do with the daughter being... Yeah. So you could have something where Jamie Lee Curtis and Judy Greer are finally killed by Michael.
I would love Judy Greer to die.
And then have the daughter be the one who finishes it, and that's the new bloodline.
Yeah, because she was good. She's decent.
I kind of felt like there was a little bit of a swerve at the end with her having the knife, where maybe something got imprinted on her, but we'll see when that comes out.
Either way, let it be known that my love for the Halloween franchise has never faltered. I still, it's the number one or number two for me.
And I think another thing, there's two other pieces of news that tie into this, but I kind of just wanted to overly talk about it. Is once again saying that you weren't as hot on it as I was, but I do enjoy the fact that they did, for the most part, stick to being very faithful to what Halloween is. They didn't go out of their way. There wasn't any, curses, spells, that sort of thing. I really like that. Nick Castle is coming back again to do a couple of scenes. They're talking about possibly having a Tommy Doyle character.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. They did expand Tommy Doyle a bit in the original timeline.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting that in this timeline, other than seeing him being babysat at the very start, you haven't seen him.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what they're going to do with him, because he's definitely not going to be like in the cult. So it's interesting, and it's not going to be Paul Rudd.
Please don't bring the Cult of Thorn back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely interested to see where they're going to go with that, but I'm also very cautious now, because they promised a lot in the last one and they didn't deliver on any of it for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just very curious as to, I don't know, I think that they actually were like faithful to a fault. Like that we've already seen that movie. It's already done in Halloween H2O and Halloween 2, and
we talked about it at length though, with that it being so hard to cater to that fan base.
Yeah, but I think they threw a lot of shade at the other movie. They, even if they weren't meaning it for it to be shade, like they just did the same thing again. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But obviously, we will be there opening night. And
this is more on a personal level. I recently, like 2 days ago, I ordered a Trick or Treat Studios 2018 Michael mask, the old man Michael mask. Yeah. So I have the original and I have that, and I just set up a display case. So when it gets there, I'm going to have one on either side. I'm very excited for that. That's more on a personal note, but
for sure,
whatever.
Also, because I know like those masks are legit. I know Bryson has one.
Yeah.
But there is a guy who you can send it to who like will repaint. He repaints it and everything.
I made sure, like, I did my research on this before, and I know that Trick or Treat Studios is kind of the big flagship of that because they use the molds.
Yeah.
And the thing is I looked everywhere for someone else who had done like a similar, and nobody has that same quality.
No,
and even if Trick or Treat Studios one isn't as great as I want it to be, there isn't a ton of alternatives unless I feel like shelling out like thousands of dollars.
No, and they have the best Chucky dolls that you can get right now too. And like I know NECA is they're putting out another version of it, but it's still like they've shown pictures and it doesn't even compare to Trick or Treat's. But like
level of detail. The only reason I bought it is because obviously I was going to buy it someday, but it had recently gone on sale. Yeah. So I was like, now's my time to get it. And even with it being on sale, those are not cheap.
No, fuck yeah. That's sweet.
Next, rest in peace to Rutger Hauer.
That was a rough one, man. That one really bummed me out. That one really bummed me out.
It did. And that was kind of one of those things where, you think about like people you'd want to meet at conventions, especially. Rutger Hauer was on there for me.
Seb was supposed to meet him this month.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to Fan Expo.
Super unfortunate.
Yeah, and it kind of came out of nowhere because I didn't feel like Rutger Hauer wasn't like, he's only 77 and he didn't look like he was.
Yeah, there wasn't a thing like he'd been diagnosed with cancer or anything. I actually don't know the true besides the fact we don't need to know exactly how somebody passed away.
Like, but with that being said, go and watch The Hitcher, the original Hitcher, if you haven't seen it.
And go watch the original Blade Runner.
Yeah, and go watch Hobo with a Shotgun.
On a lesser level, yeah.
I love it. But yeah,
The Hitcher and Blade Runner, fantastic.
Yeah.
He kills those parts, and I feel like he never got the true respect he deserved because he made some fantastic films, and then kind of went along the lines of a lot of other people. They just kind of make B movies just to keep floating. But
The Hitcher, I think, is one of the most underrated movies.
I love
horror
The Hitcher,
movies.
yeah.
It's so good. Like the original is so good. Kind of like how My Bloody Valentine is even pretty underrated towards slashers, but.
And another one, we have another rest in peace to David Hedison, who is the original star of The Fly.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I'm excited to get the Scream Factory's releasing that. Fuck, I didn't write any of that down. All the Scream Factory's announcements. I guess I could pull it up.
Scream Factory went ham.
Yeah,
I'll keep talking. You look that up.
But they have a Fly box set coming out. Yeah,
okay.
With all the Fly movies.
I have to say, The Fly 2 is a very interesting movie. If anyone hasn't seen it, go check it out. If you're expecting anything close to The Fly 1, you'll be sorely disappointed. But it is a very interesting film. It's more of an action movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Fly 2 is super weird. This is a trailer for a movie. If you're really interested, and this is something I talked about, is when movies come out, there's a splurge of movies that use bits and pieces of a same title to try and cash in. We've seen this for years. Do you remember like Alien vs. Hunter? We've talked about shit like that. This movie is called Annabellum, The Curse of Salem.
Yep.
So go check that out if you want to. These are the shady worst parts of horror movies, is these bad tie-ins where they throw money at something, not a lot of money, just to get a title out that's
just
close.
It's a rite of passage at this point. People do it all the time.
I
There's
feel
Ouija
like,
3.
Yeah, stuff like that was a lot more common, I find, in the movie store age, quote unquote, because you'd trick people to buying something that they didn't like. Oh, that's out, and they'd rent it and go like, hey, this isn't what I came here for, you know.
Yeah, this is where I parked my car.
Yeah. Jordan Peele has turned down an offer to direct a Blade reboot.
Apparently that's bullshit. Apparently it was clickbait, and it was very misinformed. I know, but Arrow in the Head's been taking. That's actually one of the things I was going to talk about this week. Is Arrow in the Head has been getting so much shade thrown at them, and kind of rightfully so lately for
and that's sad because that's where I find a lot of my news.
Yeah, well, they apparently they I know the guys from Bloody Disgusting. Like, obviously there's a bit of a rivalry there, but they're like, just, at least try and do the right announcements. Like, they also, I shared on Facebook that they got me with the saying that Alexandre Aja was being eyed to reboot Nightmare on Elm Street. Apparently that's not a thing at all. Like, so
you know what? And that's another thing with us doing this news thing. I never have acted like I spend ridiculous amounts of time sifting through comment sections and podcasts to find this news. With all the work we put into this, plus
this is just a little cherry on top.
Yeah, it's just a cherry on top. If I get some shit wrong, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah, fuck you. And it's also a chance for David Hopkins to redact us.
Yeah.
Good God, you got a lot this week, man.
Yeah. I feel like this is something you would like. There's the Daybreakers release in 4K coming in September.
Okay, so I own Daybreakers, so I'm not gonna buy the 4K, but I do like a large portion of that movie.
I went to see it in theaters.
I did too, and I thought, like, when I first saw it, I was like, I love 40%, or I was like, I love 60% of it, and then every time I watch it, I like it a little bit less.
That's like bad guy Sam Neill, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
But the thing is, there are some great vampire moments in that movie, and there's some good ideas. There's just some really bad ones too. It's one of the first times I could say, take Willem Dafoe out and you have a better movie. That's very rare that you can say that.
I don't know why I have these tied together. I'm pretty sure because I saw them relatively close to the same time. No, do you remember a movie called The Colony?
The Colony or The Coven?
The Colony. And it was like these feral people that in the world had been covered in ice, and they came out around the same. Oh my God, with
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, I have those two collide because I watched them fairly close.
Yeah, that's a much worse movie.
Yeah,
but no, that there's a lot of those movies. I know what you mean.
And the last piece of news I have, and then I'm sure you have a couple things to throw out. Universal is looking to make a Walking Dead movie starring Andrew Lincoln as Rick. Now, you know those cartoons where it shows somebody milking a cow and there's like nothing left in the udder and the cow looks sad? That's what I feel like this is.
I know.
I'm surprised that this came so late in the game. If they had done this after season 3 or something, understandable. But for it to be this late in the game and they're still throwing that much money, because we've talked about it for years and it's fairly well known that
even the biggest fans have dropped off.
Yeah, their ratings have really gone down the gutter. They're hitting all-time lows pretty much every season, mid-season finale or season finale. So this comes out of nowhere for me, and if it moves the needle for some people, great. If not, whatever.
Yeah. Is that everything you got?
That's everything I got.
Sweet. I got a whole bunch. First, I'm going to start off with the Scream Factory announcements, because that's always a big highlight of my year, because as you know, I'm a big collector. So let's see what Scream Factory announced this year at San Diego Comic-Con. All the stuff that I have to talk about is announcements at San Diego Comic-Con. First up, they got The Abominable Snowman from 1957. It's an early 50s chiller starring Peter Cushing in his first film for Hammer Films. Expected release November 2019. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to check that one out. I'm going to check most of these out, to be honest with you. I'm going to buy probably all of them. A movie that I already own. This has got to be I know I'm in double digits of replacing movies that I already own because of Scream Factory. But this one I have zero problems throwing extra money at, and that is they've got the rights for Big Trouble in Little China.
Hell yeah.
So they're going to be doing a definitive release of John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Very, very excited for that. They're also going to be doing a steelbook at the same time for it. Body Parts from 1991, which is a movie I haven't seen, but I've heard I've heard some good things about it. So that one is, after losing his arm in a car accident, a criminal psychologist has it replaced with a limb that belonged to a serial killer.
Yep.
You've seen this?
I haven't seen it. I know, for some reason, I know the whole story of it. It sounds like an interesting enough movie. It was just something I never went out of my way to watch.
Well, it comes out in January 2020, so we should do an episode for it, because it's starring
$40 on this box.
No, I'll it's just a one movie, but I'll buy it and you can watch it with me. Jeff Fahey from The Lawnmower Man stars, and Eric Red from Bad Moon is also in it. So there's that one. Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, another Hammer film. Definitely will check that one out. There's lots of Hammer stuff this year, it looks like, so that's awesome. I'm sure Daniel Epler is super excited about that as well. Dracula.
Check out his podcast about that.
Fuck yeah. Dracula 1979 Collector's Edition. That one I'm very looking forward to. The Fan from 1981, not The Fan from 1996, starring Wesley Snipes and Robert De Niro, which I watched recently.
Or Swim Fan.
Swim Fan, also another great film. The Fly Collection. So this is going to have the 1958, 1959, 1965, 1986, and 1989. So that's going to be an awesome box set. I am fucking stoked for that one. Because I love their work that they've done on box sets. They did a killer Halloween box set.
I feel like we literally pay for movies that we love over like multiple copies of it because of cool artwork.
The thing is that also, it's, for me, it's the transfers.
The transfers and the special features.
Yeah.
But it's that right off the bat, you're like, oh, look at this fucking artwork.
Yeah.
Like, did I need more copies of the thing? Probably not. But that box set I had to.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, I don't know. They killed it on the Critters box set and the It's Alive box set, and I'm very much looking forward to their Omen collection as well, which is a box set I already own, but it is the worst box set I own.
Oh, can I mention something quickly? Since we're talking about box sets, I found out recently that the Halloween box set that was the blue one, kind of bluish black, and had Michael on it. Yeah. That's the one I purchased like last year before, or whatever. I found out that they discontinued that already. Which means that we're going to be getting a new box set. So look for that in the upcoming future.
Well, no, they already had they had two options for that box set. You could either get that one, or there was one that was an actual box set that had every single movie in separate cases, and they were all black cases. Fucking gorgeous box set.
Okay.
But that one was super limited, and then this one's super limited. So
yeah.
I'm sure they're not going to just stop selling Halloween.
No, that's not what I mean. But when something like that happens, where they discontinue the box sets, that they're about to roll out another one.
Yeah.
Especially with it being the 40th.
Yeah.
So
no doubt. Let's Scare Jessica to Death, a movie that I still haven't seen, that I hear constantly referenced. So I'm looking forward to finally checking that one out. I'm going to wait until I can buy the Blu-ray. Very, 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 very excited to finally be able to own My Bloody Valentine 1981 on Blu-ray. Woo! Collector's Edition. Love Harry Warden. Stoked for that movie. Pet Sematary 2. Incredibly underrated, bonkers, fucking shit-ass movie that I love. So looking forward to owning that on Blu-ray. Prophecy 1979 is written by the guy who wrote the original Omen, so that's going to be interesting. Road Games, Buzi, Silver Bullet 1985 coming out. Terrible movie, but I love it. I
was expecting you to say something that would be super stoked, and then I heard that. I was like, oh
yeah, I don't know, man. Silver Bullet that's the only movie you can get Gary Busey fighting a werewolf. So
yeah.
Looking forward to that. Universal Horror Collection Volume 3, so it's going to have a bunch of like old school horror films like Tower of London, Man-Made Monster, The Black Cat, and Horror Island. So those are all things that are very exciting coming our way from Scream Factory. I'm going to list off a couple things that Boozy's not interested in at all, but I'm going to share my thoughts on them. Big part of San Diego Comic-Con for me every year is I am a Marvel fan, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they roll out each year, what they're working on. And honestly, I even experienced some superhero fatigue a couple years ago, but it's been cured through them putting out some really amazing movies recently.
You're going to say like electroshock therapy.
No, no.
Make me feel again.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I'm pretty much stoked on all of the Marvel announcements, minus the Loki TV series. I was very excited when Loki finally died in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because I've just had it with Loki. He's one of the reasons why I had like fatigue in the first place. Is I'm like, you got so many supervillains. Why the fuck do we keep on going back to Loki? And
because he's a trickster.
Yeah, he's a trickster, and chicks love him. And I don't know. I'm tired of them, so that's probably the only one that I'm likely not going to watch. They also announced that they're going to be doing a Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which will be directed by Scott Derrickson, who did the original. They have announced that they're going to be going in a straight up horror direction for this one, and I just personally feel like we should all calm down. Marvel's not going to put out a fucking horror movie. It's going to have monsters in it. Just because it has monsters in it doesn't make it a fucking horror movie. But it is cool. I'm excited that they're going to go in like a darker direction, or like, incorporate some beasts. Like, that's all exciting news for me. But if people are expecting this to be Dawn of the Dead or something, like, I don't know, like, people are acting like it's going to be just a straight up horror movie. But I am really looking forward to that. The thing that I am by far the most excited about is that they have announced that Blade is back and Mahershala Ali has been cast. I love Mahershala Ali, and I have.
Do you really love Mahershala Ali?
Oh yeah, he's awesome, man. I love Mahershala Ali.
I'm just bugging you.
Yeah, but I can't think of a better guy to play Blade too. Like I'm honestly surprised that he agreed to do it, just because he seems like he's like might be a bit above the superhero stuff, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with that. I know he's going to be introduced in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but I can't wait for that. I watched the first 2 Blade movies recently, and I'm going to talk about them on our next episode because I had to save some stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, that's everything I got for news. So we can get on to Shark Week. So we'll be right back after. We'll be right back, and we're going to be talking about Shark Night 3D and Bait 3D. Stay tuned.
There's a 12-foot great white shark in here.
Oh, shit! Better keep still, okay? The more you scream, the more the shark's gonna come.
Why does it keep circling? It's curious. It's not sure where we are.
Hold on!
Somebody do something!
This is insane! This is a lake!
Saltwater lake. I don't know how the hell they got in here. Maybe someone put them there.
Alright, we have reached our main feature presentation, in which we're going to be delving into Shark Week. So we'll be talking about...
Spoiler-free, I may add.
Man, no.
Come on!
Like, I think that we should do spoiler-free for brand new movies.
I still think we should do it for these.
Okay, we'll try and not spoil Shark Night 3D and Shark Bait 3D.
Because then we get into that weird semantics of like, well, do we spoil this? Do we not spoil that?
Okay, well, I'm just going to say that the spoiler-free section of this is going to be very small.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about Shark Night 3D and Bait 3D. So these are both movies that people don't seem to have a lot of love for, but they are a part of the genre nonetheless. Mm-hmm. But there is like a cult following for both films, and we're going to talk about them both, and we'll even do a little versus, like we'll say which one's better,
okay,
and which one we'd prefer. Because if you're just looking for a dumb shark movie to watch during Shark Week, there are certainly worse ways you could do it than with either of these movies. That's not spoiling anything, but there is a lot of garbage shark stuff out there.
And I'd like to talk about, before we get into fully discussing these, I'd like to preface this with the whole concept that I'd mentioned before at the start of our episode about expectations. Shark movies, alligator movies, any animal attack movies, you have to kind of have more timid expectations, because it's like Bigfoot movies too.
You shouldn't be expecting an amazing movie out of
Yeah,
this.
I find a lot of these movies are for people who are really invested in wanting to watch shark movies, because they're not always top tier quality in any aspect, whether it be acting, cinematography, the special effects.
Yeah.
So for both of us, we're shark people. We're fairly forgiving on a lot of these kind of things.
Yeah.
We like all the animal attack movies.
Yeah, I don't ever expect a shark movie to beat Jaws. Like, Jaws is debatably my favorite horror
So we're
movie.
not going to go
movie.
like, where does this stack up against Jaws?
No.
Or so we're going to review it as
my expectations for, like, if you don't mind me cutting you off here, my expectations for shark movies like this is they just got to be fun.
Yeah,
I just got to have a good time watching them. Like, for me, it's the dumber the better. And, like, when it comes to movies like this, like, of course I love, like, even 47 Meters Down is pretty dumb. Like, there's some major holes there, but it's so fun.
Movie.
It's so fun to watch, and I think it's genuinely intense.
There are some very scary scenes in that.
So we'll talk about that. But, like, and so, I agree with you that you definitely need to go in with a little bit different expectations. You got to know what kind of movie you're watching.
Yeah, we're not going to, like, Roger Ebert or anything. No. We know what the ballpark is for this, and we're going to play within that ballpark.
Certainly.
So we're not just going to go in there and go, stupid shark movie, and tear it apart.
Yeah, Okay, so also, we decided to do this because it is currently Shark Week. And a little background on that is Shark Week was originally premiered on July 17th, 1988, and it featured annually in July and or early August. It was originally devoted to conservation efforts and correcting misconceptions about sharks. Because over time it grew in popularity and became a hit on the Discovery Channel. So in natural Terratable fashion, we are counteracting that point with Shark Week by celebrating two films that exist solely to make sharks look like absolute killing machines who exist only to eat humans. Mm-hmm. So we're doing pretty much the opposite of what Shark Week is supposed to be.
It's our own way of celebrating.
Absolutely. And it's a big part of the genre. We talk about it all the time. We've said it ad nauseum how much we love these types of movies. So let's just get into Shark. Which one do you want to start with?
I think we should do bait, just alphabetically.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So I don't know. If we're going spoiler free, I'm just gonna get right out of the gate, kind of like what I did with Crawl.
Also, we have to mention we didn't watch either of these in the 3D format.
No, we don't have 3D TVs.
So that does take away from some of the more 3D scenes.
Also, I hadn't seen Bait until this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was my first time. So bottom line, I think that both of these movies know exactly what they want to be and what they're trying to be, but what I want to discuss more is which one is more successful at being this level of, for lack of better words, trash. Like, they're goofy. They're not trash. They're goofy.
We can't call everything trash. I think these movies exist in their own little realm, and that's fine with what
I like them both.
I do too.
I like them both, so we'll talk about that. But we'll get out of the way. Let's start with Bait. So you want to lead us off with what Bait is?
Okay, so it is the story of a grocery store. It'd be kind of like your local smaller grocery store, and there is a hostage situation that is happening, along with a couple other smaller character developments. There's a couple that breaks up, and there's a rebellious teen who's caught stealing, that sort of thing. And right as this hostage situation is getting to kind of its apex, so there's like a cop that's in the store, and there's a gunfight or whatever. This big tsunami hits. I believe it's a tsunami.
Yeah,
something like that. And basically the whole grocery store, it's down a flight of stairs or whatever. It gets flooded, and all of a sudden there's two great white sharks that are there's one in the parkade, and there's one in the actual shopping mall. And there's a bunch of dead bodies floating around, and
like 300 people get decimated.
Yeah, and then everyone else survives by hopping. They're either in a vehicle or they're on top of the
fridges and
the fridge aisles.
Yeah. So, and the movie is also, it's starring Xavier Samuel, who is in The Loved Ones, which is a movie that I know both of us really love. It's a very, very underrated Australian horror film.
Because it's Australian, and Bait is also an Australian film.
Yes. So it's got, and speaking of Australian people, we also have Sharni Vincent, who is in You're Next and Step Up 3D.
Yes.
Then we also got, That's pretty much. Oh yeah, then there's also like Christian from Nip Tuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's in this, and he's the guy who they tried making Doctor Doom for a while in those Fantastic Four movies.
I just want to say with Charlie Vincent, I believe, right?
Sharni Vincent.
Sharni, sorry. Beautiful,
She's
first of all.
gorgeous.
But she knew exactly what this movie was and is, but she fucking went...
Played it straight. They
Yeah.
all did, man.
And
There's like
that's-
one guy who doesn't.
That's kind of a thing where I was talking about, like, when I watched Redwater, is those guys, you could just tell most of them were guys who were kind of washed up.
Yeah.
Like Lou Diamond Phillips was very washed up at this point, and he was just there for the paycheck. But it feels like everyone in Bait was really trying to act.
Yeah. Minus maybe Kyle. The Kyle.
The Kyle and his girlfriend.
Yeah,
they were playing extreme stereo. Like, it felt like
Yeah.
they were from Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But everyone else in this movie felt like they were really in it.
Yeah, they were working. Like they were trying.
And we can always like trash movies for being like B or whatever, but it felt like these people genuinely cared about the movie they were making, because like Sharni Vincent's just like out there, like huge emotion.
Yeah.
She's crying at certain scenes. Like, I will give them props for that.
Yeah, they definitely they put a lot of effort into the acting and the reactions and everything that you get out of it. But yeah, I don't know, like that's where there's one difference already from Shark Night, which we'll get to, because they do in that movie as well to an extent, but it goes pretty far off the rails. They pretty much play it straight the whole movie in Bait, but then you have this ridiculous premise of them trapped in a grocery store with great white sharks floating around.
It feels like the movie is two different ideas of things that would go like, ooh, that would be really cool, and they meshed it in.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked that, is that there's two different situations going on, and it's how they're dealing with each situation. So I did appreciate that. The parkade thing is kind of on a smaller level because there's less people involved. But it's still interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, this one, I'm just pulling it up here because the director of Bait, his name is Kimball Rendell, who has done other movies. Like, he was a second unit director on Knowing, that Nicolas Cage movie that's a giant turd, I, Robot, Underworld, Rise of the Lycans, Matrix Reloaded.
Wow.
So he
He comes from a very action movie background.
Yeah, and he was a second unit director on Gods of Egypt, which is that's a Jeff Thiessen favorite. Second unit director on Ghost Rider. Fuck, man.
These are all movies that flopped.
Yes. And yeah, like as far as I can see here, like definitely Bait is his most well-known movie that he has directed. But yeah, like I don't know, so you don't necessarily need a lot to win me over when it comes to movies like this, because my expectations are they're low.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you follow me on Letterboxd or something, you see like I gave Bait 3D, I think I gave it 2.5 stars, and I gave Shark Night 3D 2 stars. That doesn't mean I didn't like them though. Like for movies like this, it's just it's hard for me to give them higher than that. They know exactly what they want to be. They're fun enough. Especially, I'll say Bait was pretty damn fun at times. I loved like there's some incredible, like I was not expecting the reason I put this off for so long is because I thought this was going to be like a Sharknado type thing where it was going to be just like super CGI sharks, which there is plenty of those, but there's also a lot of really killer practical effects that I wasn't expecting, and like they put some effort into these kills.
I will say both of this as well as Shark Night, the first time you see the sharks, because they both come up and attack right at the start of the movie before you have your main header.
That's the worst you'll see them.
Yes, 100%. I figured people when they put these on, after you see that first attack, a lot of people would probably go like, I'm shutting this shit off.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do watch later that they use some practical effects, or the way they handle the sharks looks a lot better, and it picks up throughout the movie.
And I also think it's ridiculous to expect this level of good practical effects in either of these movies. I think that they far exceeded expectations in that element, because you know, a lot of these movies, they are made on such a low budget, and like they work within their restraints. You know, I watched that new Lake Placid movie recently, and it was like, it was like watching a video game at times, and like, but that's what you expect going to these movies, because these aren't made like neither of these movies were designed to be The Meg. Like The Meg had a huge budget.
Other than The Meg, in the last quite a while, because I can even say that 47 Meters Down didn't have the same thing. The Meg had the biggest budget for a shark movie in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Because you saw how much promotion the Meg did. They put just as much money into the actual film. Shark movies usually don't get that big of budgets.
Agreed. Yeah, and like you definitely see where they spent their money. Like I don't know, the shark. I think the shark in the Meg looks fucking awesome. And I know we're not talking about the Meg, but I will say I still really like the Meg. It's missing.
Yeah,
it's missing blood for me.
I guess the point I was going for is mostly just like you have to understand the budget that they're working on. That to make a believable shark the entire time, yes, there will be some less than stellar CG.
Yeah, totally. But fuck, man, like I was very surprised by how good a lot of this movie looks, and as specifically, I guess that's going to be in spoilers, but I think it's in the trailer. See, this is what I'm talking. Like, I won't say. I'll wait until afterwards.
Okay.
But we can. So overall, I actually liked Bait. Like for what it is, I enjoyed it. I will watch it again.
I'm pretty sure I'd mentioned on several other episodes that I do enjoy Bait.
I see, and I thought that you hated it.
No.
So that's why it's one I put off, and I've heard like such mixed reviews on this one, and it's stupid for me to even be looking into those reviews.
Yeah.
But I always go for people who I trust, and it seems like it's cut right down the middle. I think it all just comes down to if this is your jam or not. If you're the type of person that can enjoy just watching people get slaughtered by animals.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love that stuff.
I think a great part about Bait, because I want to try and have, when we do main features, I know a lot of times we'll just trash them and be like, this is poop, poop, poop. I want to try and...
I don't think either of these movies deserves that.
No, I kind of want to dissect the storylines, especially of Bait, because Bait was really smart. You see a lot of shark movies, it's just people keep going back in the water. Have you ever seen...
man, I would have never used smart in this sentence at all. Like,
no, but like, do you remember there was a YouTube clip where it's Pool Shark?
Yeah,
have you seen it? It's like a sketch comedy thing.
Okay.
And people are like, there's a great white shark in the pool. Don't go in the pool. And then someone's like, well, it's really hot out.
Yeah.
I want to go in the pool. It's that sort of thing where they don't have a great reason to go back in the water. But I feel Bait was very smart about reasons why people were in the water.
Yeah, as smart as it could be. I guess.
Because they have this thing with the tsunami knocked off a bunch of electrical stuff. So they have this live wire that's dangling above the water, and water's slowly filling up. So they're going, we have to get to, it's kind of like how Crawl did. We have to get to a certain thing to turn off, or we have to get to a certain area because we're going to be electrocuted, we're going to drown, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It makes the stakes interesting because you're not just going, why are we trying to leave and consistently being eaten by sharks?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm coming from with it being smart, is they had a great idea for this whole thing, and then they were like, why do we need people to be in the water? Well, they're going to get electrocuted if not.
Exactly. For me, like, usually when it comes to movies like this, it's the dumber the better. For me, like, the more silly, that's what I want from these movies. And Bait was admittedly not nearly like it was like you had said, it was treated so straight faced, and
other than the Kyle and girlfriend,
but it was played straight, and I think that they like it surprised me in the fact of it being like, oh, this is actually like a decent movie, and it is. I still think it is completely nonsensical, and it's very silly, but it succeeded in actually being a movie more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Aside from a couple characters.
I love that they set up this storyline of. I guess we could talk about spoilers now.
Well, no, if we're doing spoilers now, we got to hop to Shark Night, and then we got to hop back.
Oh, I thought we were going to just do.
Well, we can't spoil.
Okay.
Spoil it.
So let's do Shark Night then we can come back to doing spoilers for both.
Yeah.
So do you want to take it away for what Shark Night is?
Yeah, sure. So Shark Night 3D came out in 2011, and this one is very interesting. So did you see this one in theaters?
No,
theater?
I didn't.
I didn't either.
I was well aware of it, and I decided not to go.
Yeah. I know, because I was expecting the absolute worst.
It looks like the Friday the 13th of shark movies. Because you have
that's a great thing for me.
You have like the cool music playing and everybody's having a great time at the beach.
Yeah,
and then something happens. You're like, oh no, spring break's ruined.
There is plenty of like this is just a fucking cliche bomb of shark tropes, and so that's like the opening scene. It feels much older than 2011.
Yeah,
like it feels kind of like the opening scene of Resident Evil, the first one. Like it's kind of edgy, but it's like, man, this movie. Okay, so. This one is It's directed by David R. Ellis, who, this is one that I want to read off his second unit director credits, because this is crazy. First of all, I'm going to say he directed Shark Night 3D, which is the last movie he's directed. He hasn't directed since. But before that, he also directed Final Destination 2, which is debatably the best one. Yeah. Snakes on a Plane, which some people really like. I've never been able to get...
Remember when that was like a joke in everyone's lexicon for a while? Like, I'm tired of these motherfuckers. And then that kind of... I'm glad that died out because it's really annoying to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that, for me, like, that's one that's trying too hard to be dumb.
Yeah.
It's trying so hard to be dumb. And I know it's kind of a contradiction of my review on Shark Night, because clearly this one's trying to be dumb too, but I think it's also... What I like about it is how hard it's also trying to be smart. It's there's a little like foreshadowing in this movie that we're going to get to when we talk about spoilers. But yeah, so this guy he was a second unit director on movies like 47 Ronin, R.I.P.D. I'm going to go back to the beginning.
Oh, not R.I.P.D. Oh, yeah. Also flops.
Yes. Okay, so second unit director on Warlock, the classic horror film, Patriot Games, Forever Young, Beethoven Second, Blank Check, Clear and Present Danger, Waterworld, Sphere.
Oh, I remember Sphere.
Yeah, The Negotiator, Soldier with Kurt Russell, Deep Blue Sea.
Hey,
so he was there on Ground Zero, and Blue.
That's where he picked up his shark knowledge.
Exactly, Blue Streak, The Perfect Storm, Exit Wounds, Rockstar, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, The Matrix Reloaded. So we got a little tie in there. So he definitely knew the other homeboy. And yeah, so he's worked in some pretty amazing, like, he's worked on some very well-known movies. Big stuff, yeah. And the movie itself is starring Sarah Paxton, who we know from, she was in the movie that we both love a lot, Cheap Thrills.
Yep.
The Innkeepers, The Last House on the Left remake, which is very, very underrated. And but she was originally like a Disney star. Like, she was in a movie called Aquamarine that was pretty big for kids. So it was really interesting to see her take a leap into like these darker... This was near the beginning of her transitioning from being like a child family staple to hopping in some pretty decent horror movies.
I haven't seen her in a lot lately. She's very familiar, but like I just...
Yeah, what the hell is she? She was in something... She's been doing some like legit movies, but she's in like TV shows. But okay. But yeah, and then this one is directed by David R. Ellis. Or wow, sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I got it mixed up. I'm mixing up because I watched our next week's. Okay. Yeah. All right, and it also starring Dustin Milligan, who was in nothing. I don't know him from places. Sorry. Chris Carmack, who's the jock from the OC. He plays one of the what's it called, the redneck guys who she knows. Yeah. Catherine McPhee, who I believe was an American Idol star. And yeah, because Courtney knew who she was, and she was like, yeah, this was around the time. Of course Courtney would know. Yeah, and she knew about her eating disorder and everything. So I'm like, okay. Joel David Moore, who we know from Avatar. No, we know him from Grandma's Boy. He's the guy with the race car bed. He's in Dodgeball. He's in Hatchet. So yeah, you got some actual actors in this movie. People who have kind of made a name for themselves. But yeah, this one is basically...
Joel David Moore wasn't the one with the race car bed.
No, that's Nick Swartzen. Sorry, he's Robot Legs.
Yeah, he's
the guy with robot legs.
On my face.
Yeah. But yeah, Shark Night 3D is a weekend at a lake house in a Louisiana Gulf turns into a nightmare for 7 vacationers as they are subjected to shark attacks. So it's one of those ridiculous movies with a ridiculous premise of sharks being in water that they wouldn't generally be in.
You've seen a lot of these. I wish I could name more offhand, but you've seen this basic premise of, it is the Friday the 13th premise of, we're going to this cool cabin that my uncle has, blah, 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 and we're going to party and drink, and maybe I'm going to hook up with, Sally, blah, blah, blah.
Big time. That's what I think, okay, so this movie breaks a record. Like, at a record-breaking 40 seconds after the credits start, sexual harassment has already began. So, like, these guys are, like, all of these guys say at least one line that revolves around taking advantage of girls. Like, it is mind-blowing how, I'm like, man, every single guy in this movie is talking about raping women. Like, it's so fucked up. But even the gas station attendant is watching the girls pee on a hidden camera. Like, so
right. Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And
this was 2011, right?
yes.
Man, how far we've come in 8 years.
Oh, I know. And like, we're
like, this shit wouldn't fly now.
No, but like, that's the thing is like, that is a theme in this movie, is that the men are the sharks. And even like the one of the rednecks, he's got sharpened teeth, and like these shark hunters, and it's, oh man, it is so corny, and I love that. I love that they're trying to be smarter with it, and it is just like ridiculous. But then you can cue the happy summertime cliche, things couldn't be better music, just some hot college kids who want to have some fun in the sun on a boat. And little does this poor little pack of rapists know, they're about to be shark bait. So like that's what Sharknado 3D is. If that's the thing is like the reason I started naming off all the stuff, like I went down a rabbit hole finding out about this director, because I'm like, this director feels like the guy who primarily specializes in making cum shot compilations. And if you look at him, that's exactly what he looks like. Like, not to be an ass, but I guess I am being an ass. Look at this dude.
Oh,
he's the Girls Gone Wild guy.
You know those pornos where the director's talking?
Yeah,
quote unquote direct, like the camera guy.
Yeah,
and you're like, stop talking.
Yeah,
that's him.
That's him. He's just like got a wicked tan. But he made a super entertaining movie. And man, the first time I saw this movie, I fucking hated it. I don't think I was.
Yeah, this is my second time seeing it, and I remember the first time you're like, this is poop.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's super bad, but it's definitely entertaining, and I had a lot of fun watching it. Like, there's some pretty hilarious kills. The premise, it's the characters once again in this one that I love, because their motivations are so fucking stupid.
Yep.
Particularly, what was his name? I got it. Malik. Malik is probably my favorite character in the movie.
I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
Man, we're gonna have to get to spoilers. See, this is where I just wish I could just talk about it, but I don't know. Overall, I think there's some really cool practical effects in this one as well.
Yeah, other than there's a couple of spotty CG, and I remember the first scene where you see a shark attack, very ugly to watch. Yeah, and because I hadn't seen it in so long, I was like, oh no, is this what the rest of the movie's going to be like? But they do have some good stuff in here. Yeah, and they're trying very hard to make this a 3D movie. Yes. It's also very nice to see some variation. What kind of sharks? We got a hammerhead shark. We had a mako. There was a great white.
Yeah. No, it's got it all. Yeah. And they're intertwining this like deep plot where it's just,
and there's baby sharks.
The baby sharks are soups cuties.
I feel like I'm gonna play Baby Shark at the end of this.
What?
For the outro, I feel like I'm just going to play Baby Shark.
What's Baby Shark?
What the fuck do you mean, what's Baby Shark?
I think you might have shown me this before.
Song?
I don't think I know.
Okay, everyone at home is probably screaming at you. It's like the biggest kid song. I'll play it after.
Okay. But, yeah, I don't know. This movie is just, it's ridiculous. There's lots of those time lapses, the people dancing for no reason to electronic pop music.
I feel like a lot of it was like, this must have been the summer of Sean Kingston. I feel like this whole soundtrack was just Sean Kingston.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. I have written down in my notes here to check out because I watched this a little. I guess it was only a couple minutes
ago,
a couple days ago. But the stunt coordinator in this movie has done. I'm getting my. The stunt. Well, man, because the stunt coordinator on this movie has done some incredible stuff. Like he did the Jumanji, the new one, Dunkirk, Gardens of the Galaxy, La La Land, Ghostbusters remake.
So this was just kind of like a tied over paycheck kind of deal.
Ant-Man, Terminator, Jurassic World.
Wow.
Furious 7. Fuck, man. Like, he's done so many things. But, yeah, so, like, there's definitely talent behind this movie, but the question is it fun? I had fun with it.
I did have fun. This movie, compared to Bait, I feel is the worst storyline one.
Oh yeah,
because they basically go, sharks in a little lake that they shouldn't be in. How did they get here? And then there's kind of a twist of bad guys being bad guys because they're bad.
Yeah, they're sharks.
Yeah,
that's the whole foreshadowing.
I find that a lot of the because I'm trying to look at this subjective as possible with the storyline that they're giving you. And yeah, I don't like the whole bad guys being bad because they're bad for money, because people are bad and that's why we're being bad.
Well, and that dude's pissed because he got like a 2-inch scar on his face.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking silly.
Yeah.
But it's definitely entertaining. But what I will say before we get onto spoilers, just because I guess we're going to have to, if we're doing spoilers, we got to reveal which is the more favorable one. I honestly put these movies on the exact same playing field. I think that they're both like the exact same level in quality. But Bait is taking the crown because Bait does not have that atrocious rap at the end. Did you watch the rap this time? Because it's after the credits. I remember the first time I watched it because I had the DVD, I think. It plays like right as the movie ends. And it's the whole cast and crew singing a rap song about sharks. And it is like one of the cringiest things I've ever seen in my life. Like it's so not funny.
It's more cringy than blooper reels.
Man, blooper reels are awesome. This is awful. Like this, oh man, watch the Office blooper reels. They're so good.
See, I can see that, but there's like when I was in film school, it's like Film 101 is please don't put blooper reels at the credits. Nobody wants to see this shit.
It's very few times where that'll work, but I don't know, man. There is just so, and like this movie's filled with lots of like buzz things for me. Like one of my favorite, like everyone knows who listens to this knows how much I love Anaconda, and one of my favorite things about Anaconda is how John Voight is just making up facts about snakes and just saying it so straight faced. And I feel like a lot of the facts they make up in this movie are very much that made up. Like there's the one guy who said, one of the rednecks who says he has a speaker that will basically paralyze anything that comes in the water. That does not seem like a real thing.
Well, I know sharks use sound vibration to hunt quite a bit of the time. Whether pounding a bunch of shit at them would really fuck them up. They'd probably just leave. They wouldn't just stop swimming. Because if they stop swimming, they drown. That's how they sleep. They consistently move while they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I actually found out a very interesting shark fact, not because of either of these movies, but I was just interested in sharks in general. I found out great whites are actually extremely playful, and they're also very territorial, but instead of they're not killing machines in the way where, like, they have to kill everything around them because they're territorial. They'll actually do this. They'll have slap fights where they'll go above because you've seen the sharks when they like jump out of the water and everything. They do this thing where they splash their tail when they come out of the water and between two great whites, and whoever makes the biggest splash is the winner, so that the other shark will leave because they don't immediately want to go for killing each other, because usually if they fight it wounds both of them very badly, so they'll try and avoid it by doing shit like that. Weird. Or they'll play chicken with each other. They'll swim at each other as fast as possible, and then the first one to stop and not hit into the other one loses. They do weird shit like that.
That's a very weird flex.
Yeah, and it's also sharks don't usually want to eat people because their stomach is made to only digest sea creatures and that sort of thing because of the film that's on their body and the kind of makeup of their meat. Whereas if they ate a human, usually they will throw it up because we will physically make them ill because their bodies aren't meant to digest land creatures like us.
Weird.
Very interesting facts. Sorry, I just had to throw it out there because I was learning all about these. Yeah, Shark Week,
my dude. Cool. Well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we need to get into some spoilers here, but overall, let's give me your like. If say someone like Jeff is listening and he hasn't seen either of these movies, which one do you tell him to go for?
This is personal preference. I would say Bait. I think Bait's a better movie because it plays with a little bit more straightforward face. And I think the storyline's a little more interesting. I like the kills. It's not... Shark Night is, if you want to go over the top insane, that's where you go. All the shark attacks they're brutal, I guess, but it's all over the place. Whereas you look at Bait and it's a little bit more contained, and there is some really interesting practical effects.
Yeah.
Like you see one where like a guy's slowly bobbing and then his
my favorite.
Head just comes off.
That's my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, I like Bait a little bit more. It's more close tension, so I would say go for Bait.
Sweet, go for Bait. All right, spoilers. So now we're getting into spoilers.
Yep.
So I guess
let's go back to Bait then for that.
Okay, yeah. Take it away.
Bait. Like I said before, I like the storyline ideas. I actually like the the underground parking one, that the reason people are moving around is to try and get the shotgun. So it's nice to see that this dude fucking unloads on the shark. The silliest part of Bait is the random guy who knows shark facts sometimes and then gets eaten.
Yeah, that like there's a lot of the silliness in this that I just adore, and like there's that guy, and then there's the guy who makes the suit out of fucking cages. Like, that suit is hilarious.
I was wondering, like,
those are wires. Like, that would do nothing.
I was wondering, is there any way that he could have done his heroic effort without dying? I feel like
no, like he's dead from the get-go. He just made it like mildly more inconveniencing. He made it more of an inconvenience for the shark to have to bite through the cage.
The whole time I was thinking about his whole story arc, I was like, this guy got cucked.
Oh yeah, big time.
She won't sleep with me. All she does is talk about you.
Yeah.
In Korea. I'm going to go die now.
Yeah, I'm going to put on these shopping carts and jump into the water. Like, he makes a man-made Iron Man suit.
It's like out of baskets.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a baskets and shopping carts. He makes it, it's like Iron Man when he's trapped in the cave in the first Iron Man movie. It's fucking
I like that they do at least something as opposed to him just, who's the fastest swimmer out of us?
I know. Yeah.
So it was kind of fun that way. I will say Bait pretty much immediately kills all minorities. I don't know if you noticed.
I did notice that. That was wild.
Every time you saw a minority, you're like, sorry, bud, you're gone. Like,
yeah, it's in the cards now that this is what we're doing. So
yeah.
Peace.
And then the ending kind of comes down to, I don't remember everything that happened, but the group basically comes together, and then there's a second aftershock or whatever, so it's making everything worse, and they have to switch off the power, but they end up killing the shark by shooting it with a taser in the nose, and then it electrocutes it.
Love it.
And the other shark gets shot in the face with a shotgun.
Yeah, I love it. Xavier Samuel's swimming in the bottom, and he just fucking shoots the shotgun up through his chest.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love that.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of The Shallows, how that one ended, where they had to, like, swim slightly under the shark, and then it kind of, like, impaled itself. Instead, it's a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. Surprising how many people actually survived at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people survived.
All the women.
Yeah.
All the women survive.
And I like the kind of, what would you say the ending is? It's kind of a darker ending.
Yeah, sort of. It's they're left. They're alive, but they're still kind of fucked.
Yeah, but like everything around them is destroyed. And it was kind of a cool scene to see the ocean kind of rise up, and you have that one surfer dude who's like, "Oh, here comes the big wave!" Then you just see everyone get wiped out.
Speaking of surfer dudes, how do you feel about the fact that Kyle actually yeeted the dog in this one? Like, he actually eats the dog. I thought about that. I'm like, Buzi thought that was going to happen. What movie were we talking about? Was that Crawl?
Yes, that was Crawl.
I thought she was going to yeet the dog.
As a distraction. And the dog ends up surviving.
Yeah.
And Kyle does not.
Yeah, Kyle. Fuck Kyle.
But the thing about him, they made both those characters so unlikable, but you actually had the Kyle character kind of redeem himself because he saves somebody and then gets eaten in the process.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of these movies has a lot of scenes, and I guess that's just a typical shark scene, where somebody's holding onto a ledge and someone's trying to pull them up, and then they're getting eaten. That
happens in Lake Placid. It happens in almost all of these movies.
It's a very common shark thing, and it does kind of make you terrified. Like, imagine just being on a lake. I know this has happened to me before, where there's like a dock and you're all jumping off of it, and like when I grab the ladder, I go up as fast as possible because I'm like, ain't nothing to eat my ass.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This one, I just think like there's lots of really cool kills. They jam packed this thing with kills, and that led me to down the rabbit hole of seeing how well this movie did in Korea. Mm-hmm. This was apparently a huge movie in Korea.
Really?
Yeah. So like that's kind of interesting because it as much as it does play it straight, it's still a bizarre, goofy shark movie.
Yeah, and if you've seen any of the bigger films that have come out of Australia, like, you know, your loved ones, I believe
Rogue's Australian.
I think Primeval is too.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen Primeval in a long time.
Okay, but Wolf Creek, this sort of thing. Yeah. You'll see a mixture of a lot of those characters, and I think that does bring a little bit of not prestige, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's people who have all worked together.
I think Australians make killer fucking horror movies.
Exactly. Like they're all went together to try and make a very decent film.
Yeah.
I think this is a fine film. I like it.
It's definitely not as dumb as you would expect.
No, when you have those lists of like worst shark movies, I don't think this one hits.
Yeah,
on
this
there.
isn't like the Sharkkensaw Massacre or whatever the fuck. Like Ghost Shark and stuff like that.
I still think like a 47 Meters Down is a better film than this. But,
by far.
But Bait is a fine shark movie as far as shark movies go.
Yeah, and so then we got Shark Night 3D. Yeah, this is the one where they're trying so hard to make this a 3D movie.
Yeah.
Like I love that the whole purpose of the boat conveniently losing control is to steer and explode into 3D debris.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking hilarious parts about this movie, particularly Malik, which I'll get to right after I talk about these two rednecks, that somehow I get it that, like, you know, they did the whole thing how Sarah Paxton grew up in that town and like they know each other from way back when.
It's kind of a Deliverance angle.
Yeah, they have like a history with it. It is like Deliverance in that way, but we're supposed to believe that there is any world where Sarah Paxton is hanging out with those guys, even if she has absolutely no one else to hang out with. There's no world where I picture.
Just read a book.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the one redneck who has the sharpened teeth conveniently for whatever reason has a neck tattoo that reads "Trust no bitch." Did you see that? His neck had on his neck "Trust no bitch."
He's I live by one rule and one rule only.
Exactly, yeah. And man, like there's so many funny things in this movie. Like when Malik gets his arm bitten off, and they're looking for a first aid kit. What the hell are they gonna do with a first aid kit? But they're like, quick, put a Band-Aid on it. His arm's off.
We only have small left.
Yeah, but my favorite part of the movie has to be when Malik rises up, grabs a spear, and decides with only one arm left to go back in the water to fight the shark.
I love
it.
This movie was whatever up until that point, but I find once you hit this thing where someone goes, "That's it, I'm gonna rise up to this shark and stand in the water," and then they have like this weird shark attack scene, and it's so like muddled as to what's going on.
Is that when the hammerheads go after him? Yeah. I still like that it was a practical shark though.
I did like that. And then they like bring it up on the beach and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Malik is the hero multiple times in this movie.
I find his ending was
hilarious.
His ending would have been a lot more justified if they didn't show him getting fucking massacred after. If they would have just left it at he dips off the boat to try and save the other guy.
We're here to see people get annihilated.
I know, but it does such a disservice to his character. Like, imagine if, like, you know when, I guess this is a spoiler for Star Wars. Like, you know when Han Solo gets stabbed and then falls off? Now, picture if they added extended scenes where it's just his body ragdolling against shit as it's falling.
Yeah.
Where it takes away a little bit of the dramaticness because you're watching the aftermath.
Yeah. I think I agree with you, but we're also dealing with completely different types of movies. I know that I think the point of this movie is it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be goofy, and it's supposed to be over the top. And for the most part, they succeed at that. I also want to make sure I don't make it sound like I love both of these movies, even though I've said so many times now I loved it. Like I like those moments a lot.
Yeah.
But this isn't. I want to talk about because like we also have some listeners have written things out about what they thought of the movie or about shark movies in general. So we'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, for Shark Night 3D, it's exactly what you should expect from this type of movie. It delivers.
Yeah, we didn't exactly talk about the twist. So if you're two hillbilly guys, and it turns out that they brought these sharks in there to feed people to it, and they put cameras on it so that they can, because I don't know how many times this fucking storyline comes up over and over. People love to see other people get murdered, so we did this to make money.
I know.
And then the sheriff's in on it, and he's gonna like date rape the man.
Yeah,
I hate how many times we said rape this episode because I don't like that word, but that's
this
what
movie
he was going for.
Yeah, every guy in this movie is a rapist.
Yeah,
like, besides Malik. Or wait, no, I can't remember.
I think Malik's a good guy.
Yeah, but he did make. One of them made the comment in that convenience store about how you need to get her drunk so it'll for sure happen.
Yeah,
it's like good God.
But so the end of the movie is our main characters, whoever was left, manages to escape and they kill the other guys. They all feed them to sharks, and the guys are like, "No, how could this happen to me?"
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the the end of it.
Yeah, and if you want to know where my head was at during both of these movies, out of everything in Shark Night, out of everything that I could have pointed out wrong or silly or stupid, the only thing that I Googled during this movie was one single thing, and that was to check for the plausibility of if a Zippo could light after being in the water. Like, that's what I looked up. Like, would that happen? Meanwhile, there's like sharks jumping out of the water and eating Joel David Moore's head. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think these are both fine at what they do. They're definitely not like we're like, before we close up and we do like the end of the episode, and then you do your post credits question.
Yeah, don't
just
forget to stick around for that.
Yeah, so let's just do like a quick rundown of what our listeners. Do you have anything else you want to say, or can we just?
I think if you're really into shark movies, watch Shark Night 3D. Otherwise, you don't need to.
You mean Bait?
No, I think watch Bait if you're also into shark movies. I think it's a better shark movie. But Shark Night 3D for me, it was fine, but I could care less. Yeah. About it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. It was just there.
I'm going to watch both these movies again.
I'm going to watch Bait. I'm going to watch Bait again for sure.
But it's going to be a while. But yeah, I would definitely be more inclined to watch Bait again. But okay, so Bryson says, between these two movies, I like Bait more. I think the setup was way more fun than Shark Night, but the CG gets really rough. I remember loving Deep Blue Sea as a kid, but I haven't seen it since. I definitely should revisit it.
You definitely should.
I thought The Shallows was really good, and I'm looking forward to the new 47 Meters Down later this month. I'm going to now add on David Hopkins of Erie International also sent in, because this was me just asking people about shark movies in general and their thoughts and what comes to mind. He says, in high school, I loved the simplicity / rawness of open water, but I haven't revisited it since then. Even back then, I remember being the only one of my friends who liked it, so I have no idea what that means. Also really dug The Shallows. It's always been... Oh, John Boy's here. It's always been a little confusing to me that of the modern shark films, that one has been sort of pushed aside in favor of 47 Meters Down, a movie which I liked well enough, but thought it was much less artfully executed. So now we can talk about this, because I think me and you feel the exact same. Mm-hmm. I hold these movies in a different, I have different expectations for a movie like Shark Night 3D or Bait 3D over The Shallows or even 47 Meters Down.
And the more I think about it, I actually didn't mind The Shallows. I just think it was a little bit less exciting than I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you would know what this is called, because I don't remember offhand. Did you know Halle Berry did a shark movie?
Dark Tide.
And it actually, the movie's not great, but it has some decent kills in it at the end.
I haven't watched it because I've heard nothing but horrible things about it.
There's like a big storm at the end on the sinking ship, and there's actually some really good gory scenes in it, but I haven't seen that movie in years.
Yeah, I avoided it pretty much.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, I remember how excited we were for The Shallows. I had a countdown, because
you were super excited.
Oh man, I like The Shallows, and that's also, it's a product of expectations and what I was expecting in this movie and everything. But I didn't love The Shallows at all, and but I loved 47 Meters Down. And I think it's because it was way more tense. I
always will say for The Shallows, though, because I remember even after we watched it, the shark looked great in that movie.
It did look good.
I liked it a lot. I thought the ending was interesting, and the more I talk about it, I do want to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous movie to look at, because it is it's really well shot, and the water looks good. And then of course you have Blake Lively in a bathing suit, and I was obsessed with Blake Lively at this time. She's incredibly perfect.
Yeah.
But for me, Jaws being my favorite movie of all time, I'm this movie is a home run. Blake Lively and a shark. Fuck me right up with that shit. But yeah, I don't hate it. It has its moments, but for whatever reason, 47 Meters Down is the one that I was truthfully surprised by.
Yes.
I watched it 3 times the week that I got a hold of it. I loved it.
They used the combination of light and dark in such interesting ways.
Yeah, I thought it was a much scarier movie.
Yes.
Yeah, but even though at the end of the day, these are all silly movies, because you have The Shallows, where does that shark really have nos attached to it, where it can shoot lightning speed? That's another thing Shark Night does a lot. Fuck those sharks.
At top speed, sharks can go 60 miles per hour, but it doesn't just happen right away.
No,
they can't just.
They don't have turbo in Shallows. But that's you're kind of silly if you're expecting realism. But then in 47 Meters Down, there's a plethora of plot holes as well. Like even how they're talking to each other, how like they're underwater. Like there's so many things that don't make sense. But at the end of the day, I just love shark movies, and I'm very forgiving of them all. But I will say before we close this episode out, still Jaws is number one, goes without saying.
Yep.
And then hands down, Deep Blue Sea.
Ooh.
Deep Blue Sea is one of the funnest movies ever.
That movie is pretty fun. It's got an interesting story. I like that they kept it going. And then it turns into your basic escape movie. But we're not here to talk about that.
Wait. Sorry, I forgot. I got a couple more comments from listeners on Instagram. So Darcy says, of course, Jaws 4 is the real GOAT of shark movies.
The GOAT of 3D shark movies.
No, that's Jaws 3 is 3D.
Sorry, yeah, that's 3, sorry.
Jaws 4 is the Revenge. That's the one where he travels.
That's the Jamaican one.
Yes. 47 meters down is close, though. So once again, Darcy is kind of...
weird hot take.
Yeah. Daniel Epler says, haven't gotten to Shark Night yet, but I had a terrific time with bait. I'll totally take a ridiculous premise if I have characters who take it seriously and aren't winking. I know a lot of people disagree, but I enjoy spending the movie with these characters. The crazy gore doesn't hurt either.
I think Daniel said it best, and everybody seemed to really enjoy bait from the feedback we've gotten.
Yeah.
And I like that he did say something that we had talked about before, is that the acting really did hold up for that movie.
Totally. Agreed.
Yeah. And thank you everyone who's responded. We love talking to you guys about this stuff. Make the messages as long as possible so we can all talk about them, and you guys can respond back, and we can talk about it later, because obviously we're trying to have a little more engagement, and that's why you'll have the question at the end of this episode after the outro. So you do actually have to stay around for the whole thing.
Hell yeah. So before we check out, I'll say a quick reminder that next week we'll be talking to Sean Broom of the Story of You podcast about Lake Placid.
Yeah.
So make sure you give that a watch or a rewatch or whatever.
Story of You, also on the Saskatchewan Podcast Network.
We are proud to be presented by.
And Connexus. I was on an episode of that. I didn't talk about it too much because it's very kind of a more personal episode. If you're interested, I am on one of the episodes, and I'm sure Mitch will be on one eventually, because I'm sure you have some great stories to tell as well.
Hopefully. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week on the Terror Table. Make sure to stick around so you can hear the question of the week.
Baby shark, do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark, do 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 do. Mommy shark, do 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 do. Mommy shark, do 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 do. Mommy shark.
Daddy shark, do 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 do. Daddy shark, do 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 do. Daddy.
Hello, Teabags. You have made it to the post-credit scene of episode 127 of the Terror Table. Buzi, what is the question of the week?
Question of the week. I want people to give a little bit of thought about this one. I want you guys to pitch me a shark movie.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to get some responses. Myself, as well as Mitch, will have our answers next week, and we'll go over them.
Yeah, this is news to me as well. I don't know the questions of the week. But I guess this is our only time that we've done it so far. But yeah, so I guess next week, after, are we going to do this on the
We could probably do this at the start. I'm going to see if Sean will be interested in doing it. Okay. So, yeah, pitch me a shark movie. Give me some idea. I want a little bit of plot. I don't just want there's a shark in the water.
Yeah.
Give me an interesting reason why people are in the water or around sharks.
Okay, so not a question, but a pitch.
Yeah.
Pitch us a shark movie.